It might sound too good to be true, but just imagining yourself playing football or soccer can make you better if you do it the right way. This is why you should spend a few minutes imagining the best plays of your career before every game you ever play in. And it's also why you should be doing imaginary training sessions. What's an imaginary training session? It's exactly what it sounds like it is. You don't actually go out onto the field and train. You just imagine that you're training. Imaginary training has been shown to be almost as effective as actual training in a lot of cases. That might seem crazy, but it's actually not. I think the reason that imaginary training sessions have the potential to improve athletes so much is that most athletes don't do any imaginary training. And by most athletes, I of course mean 99+% of them. Think about it like this. If you've spent tens or hundreds of hours training your strong foot, then another 10 minutes or an hour of training it isn't going to make that big a difference. That training will still matter in the long run, and an hour of training every day will add up over the course of weeks or months. But that one session won't make a huge difference to your game. However, you've spent considerably less time taking touches with your weak foot. So 10 minutes or an hour might make a huge difference if you spend that time working only on your weak foot. You probably haven't done a single imaginary training session ever, at least not consciously. You may have daydreamed about kicking a ball around while you sat in class, but you weren't focused. You weren't in control. And so you didn't improve by daydreaming about kicking a ball around. Imaginary training isn't just daydreaming. You're focused as you would be in a regular training session out on the field. You're just not actually out on the field. And because you're not actually out on the field, you can be more focused. You can notice every tiny detail, and you can learn things that you wouldn't learn in an actual training session. You don't do imaginary training sessions instead of actual training sessions. You do them in addition to actual training sessions. Even the top footballers in the world only train for a couple of hours every day. You may have even noticed at times that you feel like you're training too much and your body can't take it. But you can always add more imaginary training, even when you're injured, or if it's the day after a tough game that you played 90 minutes in and your body can't handle a full training session out on the field. You can still improve by doing an imaginary training session. So let's get into one right here, right now. You're out on the field completely alone. Just you and a ball. The first thing that you do is, of course, juggle. You take touch after effortless touch, just getting comfortable with a ball at your feet. Touch after touch after touch. You feel at peace. You feel at home. After a minute or so of juggling, it's time for a short, dynamic warm-up. You start by just jogging back and forth. You add in some dynamic movements that you normally do with your team before any training session or game. Open the gate, close the gate. You feel your body getting looser, more ready for the intense training session that you're about to do. You complete a few high kicks and turn, jogging back to your starting position. Each movement gets slightly faster and more intense than the last. Heel kicks, now high knees. Each jog back to the starting position gets a little bit slower and more relaxed as the movements get sharper and more intense. Now that you're warmed up, you're running a few quick sprints, walking back to the starting position now. Turning, falling forwards, and sprinting. You don't feel tired after the short sprints. You don't have to catch your breath. In fact, they make you feel powerful, ready for the session, ready to go, ready to train with intensity. It's a nice day, and you've gotten hot. You pull your sweatshirt up over your head and throw it to the ground as you get into the first drill of the day, wall juggling. You start nice and slow, nice and relaxed, playing against the wall, taking a few easy touches with both feet, and knocking the ball again against the wall. With each touch, you grow in confidence. You are one with the ball. You are in control. You can't help but smile each time you knock the ball against the wall and control it when it comes back. You take pride in each and every touch. One errant kick against the wall, and the ball does drop. When you flick it up again, though, you've upped the intensity. You're playing one touch against the wall, still in control. You make a mistake and the ball drops again, but it doesn't matter. You just go again. You're playing against the wall with more intensity now. One touch wherever possible, on your toes, in between each touch. You play with your right, you play with your left. You're pushing yourself. And that means you will make mistakes. But that also means you'll improve. You're done with wall passing now. And it's time to move on to the next drill. One of your favorites. You flick the ball into the air and start juggling. Then you knock it high into the air. Control it when it comes down and drive into space. You turn sharply and relax. You walk with the ball. You turn. And you flick it into the air again and start juggling. You love working on your first touch because you know that it's the most important skill in the game. Each time you knock the ball into the air, you imagine that you're in a game. You are going to control that ball and drive into space. Even if your first touch isn't perfect, you'll recover, chase the ball down, and play. You're not training to improve at training. You're training to improve for the game. You knock the ball into the air again and control it when it comes down. You drive into space. The next drill you're going to do is a progression of the one that you've just done. Again, you juggle, knock the ball into the air, but this time, when you control it, you dribble to create space, and then finish on the goal. You knock the ball into the air again, control it, dribble, shoot, and follow your shot for the rebound. You collect your balls from the back of the net and walk back out to about the top of the box to go again. You take your time in between shots, focusing on quality over quantity, making sure that every play is done with intensity. Not every shot's perfect, just like not every shot in the game will be perfect. But you can always take another one. You knock the ball into the air again, control it, and shoot. You retrieve the balls from the back of the net to go again. just like in every practice and every game, you'll make mistakes, even bad mistakes. But when you do, you'll just take a deep breath. You'll remind yourself,
I am an incredible player.
and you'll just go again. You always end every session by just fooling around for a few minutes with a ball. Today, you're trying out a few freestyle juggling tricks. When you're done, you knock the ball into the air and watch it fall to the ground. You collect the balls and walk back over to the side of the field. As you walk over, and sit down and unlace your boots, you think about the session that you've just completed. You pull your boots off and sit back, thinking about how lucky you are to be able to play this beautiful game. Thinking about how much you love it.